So here we are on part 2 of the early 1900s images of Brooklyn. And even after this video, we're not going to be even halfway through all the photos, so please check back to Hidden Spotlight Treasures, where we're going to continue this series on Brooklyn. Ocean Avenue, looking north, Brooklyn, 1905. That's Brooklyn, 1905. Flatbush Avenue, looking north. This is Brooklyn, 1905, Brooklyn. Flatbush, 1905. Elm Avenue, looking west. This is 1908. So there we have it, Elm Avenue, 1908. Notice there's no railroad barrier stick to stop the buggies. Remember, this is before the cars could just go across the railroad tracks and get hit with a train. There's no crossing guard stick. So notice that there's no crossing guard here. They had to have many accidents before they would incorporate the railroad crossing guard to warn cars not to cross the railroad tracks. Road Station, 1903. One of the early ones, 1903 Brooklyn. Let's take a look. This is the station. Neck Road Station, 1903. Head Bay Station, 1903. Again, another 1903 from Brooklyn. Let's take a look. Neck Road, 1922. Again, this one here is 1922, Neck Road. Yeah, looking east on Neck Road from East 15th Street, Brooklyn. Doesn't have a date on this one. There's no date on here. No date on this photo. Neptune Avenue, looking west. This is 1909. 1909 Brooklyn. Railroads. Early America, we really had a fascination with railroad. It was how we got things across the country. Looking east on Neck Road. I believe this photo is 1920s. 1903, looking south toward Sheephead's Bay. Here we got the Bailey's Market. That was probably a famous little deli back then, a little meat deli. It says meat to eat. Bailey's Market. Here we have Charles Busser's Washington Hotel. This is at Coney Island, about 1900. 1900s. This is a pretty cool one here. This is 1900, Coney Island, a motel. Charles Busser Hotel, 1900. I like the, you can tell some of the early Mediterranean Italian immigrants here with their mustaches. Yes, it's a very interesting 1900 photo from Brooklyn. Here we have cottages along Millionaire's Row. Again, Brooklyn, 1908. So this would be Millionaire's Row, and they look a little bigger. They're not your normal cottages, but I guess for millionaires these would be considered cottages. early Americana. Looking east towards Broadway near Manhattan. Junction Boulevard. So we got 1915 near Manhattan. Quite a difference from today. Locust Avenue, looking west. Now here's a picture studio in Brooklyn, 1908. A picture, I don't see no picture studio, but I see a dirt road. Oh, right there, maybe that's the studio way in the back. There's no date on this one, and I have no idea what that building is. If anybody knows what that building is, please leave a comment. Thank you. And this photo does not have a date on it. With the horse and carriage, you know, you have to think early 1900s. The Great Coal Mine. Very interesting picture. This photo does say 1915 on it. 1915 of the trolley cars. Notice most of the men used to wear suits back then. What does that say? It says looking south along 160th Street, Jamaica, Queens. Now here we have Atlantic Avenue, 1923. 1923, Brooklyn. And it is 1905. Looks like you have one of your early carnival rides there going around.
It's Coney Island.
Is that 1905? Is that Coney Island? Yeah, here we have a 1905 Coney Island. Look at the one of the early carnival rides. 1905 Coney Island. I have to be honest with you, I've never heard of this building. It says the Galveston Flood. It's even incorporated in the building there, the Galveston Flood. Is this some sort of theater on Coney Island? So this is a pretty rare photo of the Galveston Flood building. It's in Coney Island, early 1900s, Coney Island. Was that some sort of special theater? I don't really know. Maybe if anybody has information on the Galveston Flood building, please leave a comment. I did a little bit more Okay, so I did some more digging into this building, and what we have here is a cyclorama. A cyclorama. That's what they actually called this building here. It's like, we call it like an early theater. We're looking at like 1905, 1904, and this would be one of your early theaters. And they called the movie that they're playing here. The name of the movie was called The Galveston Flood, which was based on the hurricane that struck Texas in 1900. So the hurricane struck Galveston, Texas in 1900. They made a movie about it, which they would actually call back then a cyclorama, which you know was not a talkie. It was not a talkie. And here is where they would show the cyclorama. This must have been a really big deal. Remember, there were hardly any movies back then. So this is a really huge deal. You get to come to see a movie, a documentary about the flood that happened about 4 or 5 years earlier. So this is really a cool piece of history.